What's up, everybody? Had an awesome PCP movie night tonight. We finally got to Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Alright, everybody, we watched A New Hope tonight, or as some people would say, Star Wars. The very first one from, 1977, 8, something like that?
77.
Such a good film. We had to make it through 1, 2, and 3 to get here, and I'm going to tell you this, to me, just a little bit underwhelming. Now, as a movie, it was so good, and I remember in 1997, when they re-released this film in theaters, going, and it was my first experience at a movie theater completely alone, watching a movie on my own, and I love this movie, and it's so thinly veiled in its mythological sense. You know, the themes are right there, good versus evil, and it's such a good film, but age slows it down a little bit. Speaking about age, slowing things down, we got the pop culture philosophers with us tonight, and I want to know what John Holshoe has to think about New Hope on the rewatch. What'd you think?
I like it. I mean, I enjoyed the original when I first saw it. I enjoyed the re-release with the extra stuff added in the 90s. I think it holds up well. I think it's an enjoyable film. Most people, for pretty much the world, that was their first exposure to Star Wars.
Oh yeah, and it was groundbreaking.
Oh yeah,
when it came out. Like, you cannot deny the lightsabers, the aliens, the spaceships, the dogfights. How cool all of that was. Darth Vader, the opening scene. The movie was supremely badass. Like, you got to think about what it was like to be in an audience in 1970, whatever the fuck it was. And how, like,
77.
How crazy that was, right? Right?
Yeah. I think it holds up well. I think it's great. My mom was talking about when her and my dad went and saw this in the theater with his parents.
Ooh,
and he fucking loved it and was blown away by it. And his parents, who were, very old at the time, were just like, what the fuck is this? They didn't have the same feeling, but he saw it in theaters. I wish I would have experienced in the original, the original, it probably would have had more of an impact. But I still enjoyed the film. I think it holds up well.
Yeah.
I think it looks great on Blu-ray, too. If you get a chance, watch it on Blu-ray.
Yeah, speaking of looks great on Blu-ray, Jesse Jules here. What'd you think about the movie on the rewatch?
I still love it. What the hell were you guys talking about? It was too slow.
And it feels a little slow compared to movies today.
I guess it's because
but it's
I watched
still
it so many damn times that I can quote it word for word. And we're like, this part's slow. I'm like, nah. Did we see? They just took out these guys and took over the little area watching over the Millennium Falcon.
A lot does happen in the movie, but not a lot of action happens. We're loose to... Whatever. Really? Really?
I will strike you down.
Strike me down. Strike me down. Anyway, speaking of striking me down, Brooks Gibbs, what do you think about this movie on the rewatch?
I liked it. I mean, A New Hope, it holds up. It was, you can tell it was his first movie.
Yeah.
Like, in this, like, it's a whole new thing. He's, like, introducing you to the characters, and everything seems new. But, I mean, I also like the Star Wars movies had kind of a grittier aspect, like the cantina.
Oh yeah, it's a little dirty.
Han Solo, Jabba the Hutt, the bounty hunters, all that. Like, it's not as clean as some other sci-fi series. It has that dark side to it.
Ooh, the dark side. Speaking of the dark side, Delaney is evil as fuck. What'd you think about this movie?
I'm the dark side. I love this movie.
Because you're evil.
I am evil. Yeah.
Delaney's not a nice dude.
By the way, why is my personal attack here? Everyone else said, "Hey, it's this."
I was just, dude. The segues work with what they got, man.
Well, anyway, yeah, I do love Star Wars. It brings back a lot to me. I don't think it's slow. I think it's the right pace it needs to be. I think Star Wars is simple because at that time, none of this happened before. So you get that feeling. And I love that film. I wish I had originally watched it in 1977 in a theater then. How that feeling. People were lined up for this movie. It was the first blockbuster ever.
I'm actually pissed off at my parents for not taking me to see this movie when I was -4.
So, I mean, of course. I mean, Darth Vader is still menacing. I mean, he force choked a guy. That would freak me out.
I find your lack of faith
disturbing. So, I mean, it holds up for me. I love every battle. I want solid gold Death Stars. And I'm good. Yeah.
I said the movie seemed slow. That's not saying that the movie itself was slow in and of itself of the time that it came out. What I was saying, and I'm backtracking like a motherfucker.
Okay.
Right, what I'm saying is because of the because of the prequels, because of the fast action that we just saw in episode 3, it just seems a little slow. It just goes a little bit at a teeter-totter pace. But I do like the movie, and it absolutely is fantastic. And speaking of teeter-tottering fantastically, Mark Lanier, first time watching this movie. What'd you think?
I liked it, and with the whole slow pace, I don't think it had a slow pace. It was an action movie that had a slow pace, but it's an adventure. It's the beginning of a trilogy. It's got to have a build-up. You got to be invested in the characters.
Yeah, right.
So for that, it did great for me. I liked it. Darth Vader, of course, he was menacing. I've never really seen him before, but I love it. He was powerful, but you didn't know how powerful. He was a bad guy, but you didn't know why he was so bad. But everyone was afraid of him. I dug that. And when it was time to actually get in there and fight somebody, he didn't send a lackey in there. I'm gonna go myself.
No shit, right? Every other villain always is like sending like minions out, and he was just like, "I'll hand it myself."
Yeah, minions with him. He's like, tells him, "Don't do anything."
I got this.
I got this.
Well, think of it. He stands up against Obi-Wan to himself, and then he's like, "Okay, we're getting in the ships. You guys stay behind. I got this."
Yeah.
Knowing what we know about Star Wars, it's a very mythological story. It's very like just thinly veiled. It's right there on the top. It's good versus evil. It's the hero's journey. The quest is to destroy the Death Star, to find Darth Vader, to destroy the Empire. You're the rebels, the rebellion. The good guys are wearing all white. Leia, Luke. The bad guys, Darth Vader, the TIE fighter pilots, wearing all black. Very mechanical looking. The stormtroopers may be dressed in white, but a very distinctive black that goes along with them. Vader's trying to give everybody order in the galaxy. A black and white, if you will. If you're not with us, you're against us. That's, I think, what the stormtroopers represent. Plus, stormtroopers, American, European history, you know what that represents, okay? We don't see the Emperor yet. You know, that comes up later on, and that's fine. Take it. Strike me down. But aside from all of that, really good movie, very thinly veiled, black versus white, if you will, good versus evil. Han Solo, white shirt, black vest. He's the anti-hero. He's the one right in between. You know what I'm saying? So I love this movie. I may have said it was a little slow, but I didn't mean that the movie is boring. I'm just saying, compared to today's movies, it seems very slow.
Compared to episode 2,
For your attention
shit.
No, but that's just the way it works. That's just the way movies work. If you watch a movie from the 30s or 40s or 50s, I tell people, well, if you didn't like it, you don't know the context, you don't understand the pacing of it. And so Star Wars is a brilliant film for what it is, and it is the heroic journey. It is the call to action for a young Luke Skywalker, and this is the start of the journey that leads him on to this mission, this purpose that he finds. And it's about Luke finding his purpose is what these movies are about, and Star Wars is the beginning of that, you know? If you watch Episode 3, it's the end of hope, the end of faith. And if you watch Episode 4, it's the beginning of the hope, a new hope. Speaking of new hopes, Brooks, what about some of the themes in this movie?
Well, class is a big theme in Star Wars.
Class.
With the droids, you know, the farmers, the criminals. Like, it has, you know, it was based on, you know, samurai films.
The Kurosawa films, absolutely.
Japanese culture was class was very important to them.
Star Wars was based on one
especially in the ancient times.
That's right.
And so, like, you know, you have the droids are like a slave class, but they don't mind being a slave class because that's all they
If you look at those Kurosawa films, you know, it's always like the lesser roles, the slave class, if you will, that are the humorous characters, the comic relief. And that is what R2-D2 and C-3PO are in this movie.
They're the duo.
So you're right on with that. So it's about the class system.
That's pretty easy.
I like that a lot. Speaking of class, you who's got a lot of class? Mark Lanier. What do you think about some of the themes in this movie?
I like the simplicity thing. Like with the good guys, you know, the Jedi and whatnot, they wore simple clothing, lived simple lives on these not backward, but these like desert planets, while the villains all lived in these mechanical places with these robots left.
What does that tell us about life? You know, Obi-Wan wears very natural colors. Lives on a very natural planet. Vader's from a very machine planet and very machine-like. What does that tell us?
Machines are taking over. Even Vader's being supported by a life.
Humans are being like. What's the difference between Darth Vader being taken over by a respirator and us being taken over by our mobile phones and Facebook? What's the difference, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that's a really good point.
That's good.
A huge difference, John. Please elaborate. What do you think about the themes and that in particular?
I think you're the Facebook thing. Anyway, I think obviously there's like we
seriously, if Darth Vader happened in today's world, Facebook would be given to him through his helmet, like straight up.
He would have a Twitter account, you think?
Yeah, Vader would have a Twitter account. It'd be like, crush all rebels. Hashtag Empire rocks.
LOL, just destroyed Alderaan.
Hashtag wizard.
What about the things, though?
Yeah,
hashtag wizard.
I love you. There's definitely A New Hope is a good title because it really is the hope, especially after seeing 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
And there is this hope to come back, you know. And now you got the rebels versus the it's separated.
Oh, absolutely.
But there is definitely there's purely a good versus evil, which is what you want in the movie. You want the people to root
Cowboys
for the good
and
guys.
Indians or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But a little bit more sophisticated.
Yeah, and you're right. There's a clearly defined good guy and bad guy. And Vader's the epitome of bad, but he also is pretty badass.
He is the epitome of bad, but as you just said, the epitome of badass. The lightsaber, please. The lightsaber.
All the bad guys, all the
I find your lack of
stuff they have, their armor, their ships, their battle state, all looks cool as shit. You almost want to root for the bad guys because they look
cooler stuff.
Yeah.
In Star Wars,
cooler.
I do root for the bad guys.
They look cool as
I'm going to be
shit.
honest with
Cool.
you. The only good guy I really like is Yoda.
Oh, yeah.
Like, straight up. By the way, I just want to point out, as J.E. has pointed out before, Jedis are dicks. And Obi-Wan could have saved Luke a lot of pain. He would have just been a little bit more open in this movie. Speaking of pain and being open to it. J.E., what do you think about this movie?
Well, it's
The themes.
With episode 1, we pointed out Qui-Gon's a dick.
Yeah.
And then you learn his Padawan is a dick.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that...
And his Padawan is a dick.
We also noticed similarities of Luke being whiny, just as his dad.
Yeah.
But however, I'd like to touch on 3 things here.
Okay.
One, Brooks brought up the Japanese thing, like the thing in itself, Obi-Wan Kenobi, just Japanese tidings. What you said about the machines taking over, it's not so much machines taking over, it's almost like stealing a life force away. What does Vader do? He kills people. And what is mechanized everything? It takes away.
And it took away his life. And
It
now
took
it's
away
taking
his
away
life.
other people.
And the third thing I'd like to point out, you never see Vader use Force lightning. I actually caught a documentary, The Science of Star Wars, and the reason Vader can't do Force lightning, and remember, he's half robot, his legs and his hands. There's no organic for that to fly out.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But the themes, and on top of that, it always starts with the hero's journey. It starts with Luke finding an elder. The elder's like, bad shit's coming. I know you can handle yourself. I need you.
Absolutely. Basically, find a mentor, find your purpose. Don't trust your mentor on everything because he will lie to you.
Crazy old man.
Yeah.
Day one.
It's just crazy old comments.
He could have told him that Vader was his father, Leia was his sister.
Then maybe he would have made out with his sister.
Saved a lot of trouble.
He could have saved a lot of trouble. But Luke wasn't ready. If Luke learned that Vader was his father at that point in the franchise, he would have gone off
Straight to Vader.
Immediately.
to confront Vader and got turned to the dark side.
Really?
Like that.
Or cut down like a son of a bitch.
Ooh, or cut down, because Vader doesn't know yet. But we love Star Wars. We love A New Hope, or as we used to call it, Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's a great film. We're really looking forward to Empire coming out. Someone knocked some shit over. It's all good. We're really looking forward next week, Empire. And remember, everybody, thanks for being with us. Some
Themes?
good
You
movies.
didn't ask me about my themes.
Did I not?
No, I didn't hear anything about my themes.
Speaking of forgetting about things,
Aw.
Delaney, what do you think about the themes in this movie?
Wow. Well, I believed about the spirituality of it. About the Force itself. It guides us all. It gives us strength.
The
And
Force
that's what the
itself,
Fourth is strong with you. And I took away a lot of it. Destroying the Death Star took the Force. If he didn't just close his eyes
Trust.
and use and faith.
And it was
And it
Obi-Wan's
worked out.
sacrifice that actually led to
Helps
him
him.
being able to use the Force. It's
If
his
you
coercing
strike me
into
down,
it,
I'll be more powerful
Let
than you
go.
imagine.
right?
And
And we were watching that, we were like, this is so lame because Obi-Wan just like, but no, there is a purpose to that, a philosophical purpose to that,
It goes
man.
back.
Absolutely.
So it's a beautiful film just for that. It gives you a new hope. And that's one of the pieces of the hope. There's so much hope in the film.
This
because
movie
3
is filled
ended
with
it
hope.
down. Yeah, episode 3 was such a downer. And then you get to this movie, and it's like, yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah.
We have to get through the pain to get to the greatest story ever told.
This movie really does just fill you up with the hope.
It does.
And things are going to get better. We can rebel against the forces outside of us that are holding us down. However, the next movie crushes all of that down.
Yeah.
And we're really looking forward to that. I'm really
Join
sorry
me
I missed
in
your
the
fucking theme.
It's all right.
But we're all good. We love each other here at PCP. And remember, if you want to know what your movies really mean, you got to do one thing. Dig.
With a lightsaber.
With the lightsaber. Yeah, I like that. You get the dig thing yet?
No,
Say it.
so
Say it.
I don't get it, and I think we should just cut this whole part out.
Last week
And
I
yet,
did it for you.
it's always in the videos. Fuck it, we're done.